The Entertainer is a 1902 classic piano rag written by Scott Joplin. One of the classics of ragtime, it returned to international prominence as part of the ragtime revival in the 1970s, when it was used as the theme music for the 1973 Oscar-winning film The Sting. Composer and pianist Marvin Hamlisch's Adaptation reached number 3 on the Billboard pop chart and spent a week at number 1 on the easy listening chart in 1974. The Sting was set in the 1930s, a full generation after the end of ragtime's mainstream popularity, thus giving the inaccurate impression that ragtime music was popular at that time. The Recording Industry Association of America ranked it number 10 on its Songs of the Century list. Music: The Entertainer is subtitled a ragtime two-step, which was a form of dance popular until about 1911, and a style which was common among rags written at the time. Its structure is, intro AABBACC intro to DD. It is primarily set in the key of C major. However, for the C section, it modulates to the subdominant, F major, then through a transitional passage modulates back to C major for the D section. The B section contains an indication that the melody is to be played an octave higher on the repeat. In the June 7, 1903 St. Louis Globe-Democrat, contemporary composer Monroe H. Rosenfeld described The Entertainer as the best and most euphonious of Joplin's compositions to that point. It is a jingling work of a very original character, embracing various strains of a retentive character which set the foot in spontaneous action and leave an indelible imprint on the tympanum. Suggested by the rag's dedication to James Brown and his Mandolin Club, author Rudy Blesch wrote that some of the melodies recall the pluckings and the fast tremolos of the little steel-stringed plectrum instruments. Interestingly, Stark issued an arrangement of the piece for 2 mandolins and a guitar. Publication history: the copyright on The Entertainer was registered December 29, 1902, along with 2 other Joplin rags, A Breeze from Alabama, and Elite Syncopations, all 3 of which were published by John Stark and Son of St. Louis, Missouri. The centerpiece of the original cover art featured a minstrel show caricature of a black man in formal attire on a theater stage. The Entertainer also appeared in orchestration as part of the Redback Book of Standard High-Class Rags popular with ragtime bands. Popularity and legacy: in November 1970, Joshua Rifkin released a recording called Scott Joplin, Piano Rags on the classical label Nonasuch, which featured as its second track The Entertainer. It sold 100,000 copies in its first year and eventually became Nonasuch's first million-selling record. The Billboard Best-Selling Classical LPs chart for September 28, 1974 has the record at number 5, with the follow-up Volume 2 at number 4, and a combined set of both volumes at number 3. Separately, both volumes had been on the chart for 64 weeks. The album was nominated in 1971 for 2 Grammy Award categories, Best Album Notes and Best Instrumental Soloist Performance, but at the ceremony on March 14, 1972, Rifkin did not win in any category. In 1979, Alan Rich in the New York Magazine wrote that by giving artists like Rifkin the opportunity to put Joplin's music on disc, Nonasuch Records created, almost alone, the Scott Joplin revival. Marvin Hamlisch lightly adapted and orchestrated Joplin's music for the 1973 film The Sting, for which he won an Academy Award for Best Original Song Score and Adaptation on April 2, 1974. His version of The Entertainer reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and the American Top 40 Music Chart on May 18, 1974, prompting the New York Times to write, "The whole nation has begun to take notice." Thanks to the film and its score, Joplin's work became appreciated in both the popular and classical music worlds, becoming the classical phenomenon of the decade. In the United States, The Entertainer is one of many songs commonly played by ice cream trucks, in order to attract attention. In the mid to late 1990s, Giovanni De Chiaro transcribed and recorded many of Joplin's rags for guitar. There is a 4-CD collection of his recordings available. See also, List of compositions by Scott Joplin, List of number 1 adult contemporary singles of 1974, Ragtime music. References. Sources: LA Times. Entertainment Awards Database. Los Angeles Times. Retrieved March 17, 2009. Billboard magazine. Best-selling classical LPs. Billboard magazine, 61. Retrieved July 29, 2011. Rich, Alan. Music. New York Magazine, 81. Retrieved August 5, 2011. Billboard magazine. Hot 100 Inches. Billboard magazine, 64. Retrieved August 5, 2011. External links, musical score on MIDI file at the Muttopia Project, sheet music and MP3 at mfiles.co.uk, free MP3 download and video, free typeset sheet music from Cantorian.org.